Hey, welcome to the offer code. I'm going to cover how to make highly profitable offers and the components you need to build and deliver and ultimately sell those offers. So today I'm going to cover why we should sell solutions rather than raw ingredients, the 5 components of a winning offer, which you can match and mirror and put in your own offer or create your own, why we should chunk for sales and delivery, how to price and how to deliver in a really simple way, and the art and the science and how to bring it all together and actually turn that into profit. So the key thing with offers is we have to frame the offers and what they get, not what you do. And this is a major piece where people fall over every time because they fall in love with the things that they do, the craft and the art, but they haven't transferred that with empathy across to the audience to say, if you do this thing, you get this. So everything in an offer must be framed about what someone gets in what they invest in it, okay? At the end of the day, an offer is an invitation, okay? Is an invitation, and if that invitation is attractive, and one of the major mistakes people make in their offer is they reveal too many of the things that you do, too many features, and what increases the and that probably increases the objection, okay? Because if somebody sees something that they don't like or they don't want, then they might have an objection and even think that they don't think they need it, okay? So when you put together offers, we're always in the mindset of selling, okay? The solution frame in the offer from what they get and the magic words. You will do those things when we unpack them so you can get this. It's all about what people get rather than what you do. And there are a number of offer killers, okay? And we see this all the time. And the simple defects, making a large promise that doesn't feel achievable. This is the big one, okay? Because in the internet age, it's really tempting to make massive, gigantic, huge promises and feel the bigger the promise, the more sales. And repeatedly over a decade of offer creations and delivering offers, both for myself and my clients that have sold hundreds of millions of dollars, small promises are easy to keep. So large promises and leverage come from the 1% of the 1% of the 1% who have the proof and credibility in a house or brand. Names and large promises are very difficult to keep in the first place from the presenter, okay? They don't often feel believable, so a few small promises are easy to keep. The second piece is not having a clear outcome. People need to see the future before they invest in making a change and buy offers, okay? You ask people for change, then change your behavior. For coaching, consulting, only selling information or services, then we're asking for someone to do something that they haven't done and maybe they haven't done before, and they haven't done before, it probably didn't work, okay? Otherwise, I wouldn't be talking to you. So having a clear outcome on where you are going, a beginning and a middle and an end, and having a clear outcome about what they're going to get and what you're going to do. This is super, super important to get people to buy into them. And again, listing everything you were going to do. And when you take into the information I've shared with you, you'll see some context of this in a minute. How we list features versus they do. I'm generally exhausted when I see this. I see this every single time, okay? And the more money people have, the least time they have. So listing a lot of things that people are going to do with you or you're asking them to do to get the results often has a negative impact on the number of people who are going to take you up on the offer, and also not giving them reasons to move. Now, sales is really all about disqualification also, okay? Just as much as it is to qualify people. So we got to give people reason to move now, and I'll cover that in more detail about how we do that. So there are 5 components of an offer, okay? The promise, what they are going to get, what you're going to do, the payment terms, and the plan. How does the investment look like? How are you going to match their expectations? Are the logistics right for them? Are you making it easy to buy the scarcity and urgency piece, our bonuses and our risk reversal or our guarantees? And we're going to dig into each of these, okay, components as we go along. And I've got a worksheet for you as well to put those pieces on a diamond, because when you look at the diamond, you always know that if an offer has its 5 components and they are crystal clear and well presented in an offer, has a much more greater chance of succeeding, even if it doesn't have the perfect components inside, okay? The packaging and the way it's presented will ensure that it converts to a very high level. So the first piece is the distinction. There's a difference between a product and an offer. A product is the thing we deliver, and I'm using things in the most generic way possible. So an offer is a wrapper, okay, around the product. So what's in the name? Naming, you know, we can be a little bit cute sometimes with naming, but I'm gonna use my example of the 0 to 100K offer code, okay? The 0 to 100K code was a program I ran, which was highly successful, and it helped people make the first $10,000. So it was, you know, the product name and the promise were made into each other. So the product is just a wrapper of those different things, of different components. And I like to keep the scope broad because I work with a broad range of people, okay? So I use words like code, blueprints of these people, and it's easy to identify exactly what's gonna happen. So be clear about what it is. It's tempting to be cute, I know, but there's a reason you see some similar products, names, and some of their names in around the places because they're clear. As always trumps cute, okay? The cleanness always wins, even if it is similar to somebody else. It has got the promise, the big promise we make, okay? If we are in the service of other people, what is the key piece that people buy into, okay? Do they buy into your promise? You know, the promise that has a beginning and an end. And if you're running programs or delivering a service or running a workshop, then it's clear when it starts and it's clear when it ends. And again, small promises are easy to keep. And I could have done maybe the 100K code in the previous example, and I probably would have made some sales, but for the vast majority of people, that is not what they know, okay? Unless they are highly qualified, that is not something they can do. And for the vast majority of people, it's not believable either. But, you know, if this is relevant to your market, then by all means, go for it, okay? But the 0 to 10K code is the specific example I'm using, was a product that was very much mass marketed, and it helped a lot of people. And so the smaller the promise, the easier it was, okay? It was to keep in the more believable it was, okay? So the promise, as much as we can, be objective over subjective. So time and dollars and numbers are the objective pieces. So I will help you make this much money. I will help you get this much time back. I will help you lose this much weight. You know, all things that can be measured and all things that can be actually pointed to know when someone will be successful. And it means that when someone's buying into it, you're on the path together and you're agreed, you know, you kind of agreed where you're going. And there is an obvious connection to where they're going now and where they want to go. You know, so again, with a 10K code, for people who did 100K, it was nothing, okay? There was no real connection to where they were and where they wanted to go. An extra 10,000 wouldn't make a difference. Maybe an extra 100K or an extra million might, but the people who are just starting out or taking their business online, as many people did, many people have bought this program because people are transferring from the physical into the digital world, and there was an obvious connection to around the promise to whether we're going to go, I'll help you make your first 10K online, okay? So we helped a lot of people depending on where they were. And that means they could take from the physical world into the digital, and it was an obvious connection about where they are now and where they want to go. And, obviously got very good result. So the pricing, what is the return on investment? What is the return on your investment? I generally use a rule of thumb of 10 plus. Okay, if someone gives me $1,000, I'm going to give them a minimal back of 10,000, and I'm proud to do that. And any upside of that, it's going to keep that. It means I'm focused on value creation. If my clients have done hundreds and thousands of dollars and millions of dollars, then capturing 10% of that means that you're very well rewarded in a very well rewarded space. So the second piece is around pay plans. Okay. If you're asking for commitment, if you work with clients and you're asking for commitment, you need to be very clear that you're financing the payment of the offer. So if you have a 12-month program, for example, and you offer monthly payments, you offer that, and the way you describe that is much more sexier. Okay, I will finance that for you over the 12 months, and you'll pay me monthly rather than you pay me a lump sum, because you pay me month to month and also syncs up with a commitment for the client. Okay, so that language has a huge impact on the commitment, and they buy in because they are financing it from you over that time. And you're just making it easier to buy and lock that long time value. I'm big on offering pay plans to get people in and get people started and delivering them a great experience, but also collecting as much cash upfront as possible. So regularly I have examples of, let's say, a $24,000 program, 12 months offer. Okay, that they can pay off a $2,000 a month offering. That's actually a $20,000 product. That's a finance for $24,000 over 12 months. So offering that client the opportunity to pay the full year upfront to lock in the lifetime value and locking the cash is a smart move. So getting in and pricing the program and pricing what you want to collect, and then adding them at a multiple fee, collecting pay plans and align with the outcomes makes the pricing match the return on investment. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about scarcity. So real scarcity is one of the greatest sales tools we have, because limits have big upsides. Okay, because people are forced to act because we can control supply and demand. We can control supply and demand, which, as you know, is the primary rule of economics, because we can control the supply, and that causes a change in behavior. So limiting the number of products to sell and limiting the time frame to sell them over is extremely effective, but it has to be real. Okay, so the fake scarcity will kill you in the long run, and asking people to act quickly and using bonuses or using additional pieces or deadlines are extremely important. Okay, so bonuses, lots of people aren't big fans of bonuses, but people like getting more for their money. They like getting more for what they invest, but there's some rules of bonuses. Okay, and don't stuff up and don't lie around into it, an offer and into a product, because they have to be congruent with a specific goal of it. And they can't take people off courses, and they can't feel like there's something that was just added as an afterthought to try and get some more sales. Okay, they have to be conquering, so they're delivering sales and intimacy. If you're selling an average program or adding a service component to a leverage program, I would further with ways to demonstrate expertise. So if you added a one-on-one sales call, okay, to a leverage program, I use this myself, and you got on the phone with them and you had a one-on-one option to upgrade them, that they could subscribe to you. You can upsell an offer with a limited access to a service that you have with a program, and you can waive to use a bonus to add additional revenue on top of any previous purchase made. As you can essentially upsell them from the bonuses and always reward fast action takers. Okay, whether it's with pricing or additional bonuses or special things you do for a small cohort of people, always reward fast action makers. You'll find that fast decision makers are also fast action takers, and they produce the highest quality of clients. And it's in your best interest to produce the highest quality clients. So let's talk a little bit about the guarantee. This one has to be used for caution, okay? If you guarantee things, you will, in general, attract a lower quality of clients. So guarantees are there to reward the right behavior, and they must be used wisely. Guarantees are great, okay, if there's a little downside risk. So for example, I offer full guarantees, but no money back for my done-for-you services. For small offers, I guarantee on all my products. If you don't like it, you just get your money back. It's simpler. We can cater for everybody, every single person, okay? There is little downside to that. And obviously, it reduces any customer service issues, and it's simple. But I don't offer a guarantee if people work with me one-on-one, because I can't guarantee results. And I found that if it generates a lower quality of clients who is looking for someone to either blame or delegate or keep them responsible to. So if you're using guarantees, reward the right behavior, reward action takers, make it action-based. And again, small promises are easier to keep. So syncing it up with the promise of, you know what, that offer does, what the product and the offers do. So when you look at your offer, go back and audit it. Does it have a clear promise? Does it have a guarantee? It doesn't need a guarantee, okay? What actually, the actual general scarcity are you using? What payment terms are you using? And what bonuses can you add to both reward a fast action taker, but also use the sales and upsell opportunities? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about chunking down your offer. This is very little talked in the industry, but extremely important. So why should you chunk? Well, it's clear. Expectations get clients thinking in the future, okay? The future breaks down milestone for delivery and sales, and it's possible to fragment later into individual services. And I'm going to give you a really tangible example of what I mean. So chunking the service over time means that you take clients through phases. And this will make a lot more sense when you see the templates that I'm going to give you, okay? Part of this training, so taking people through phases means that, you know, both of you know that we have sold them on the end of the journey, you know, the time they have invested over. It could be 90 days, it could be a 12 months program, it could even be a 3 years program. But everybody knows that when the phases are beginning and when they are ending, when a result is achieved, okay? So for example, for your digital agency, first, we're gonna build your sales funnel. Second, we're gonna create ads and content. And third, we're gonna launch ads. Those ads and content into the market and chunking those down as makes it much more easier to deliver, right? But it's also much easier to future pace the client and sell to them on those milestones, because you're getting to buy in an agreement about what's going to happen. So chunking is both on a delivery to streamline a delivery to clients, but also is just to streamline the understanding of the offer. And as a sales coach or a business consultant, you know, you help people grow. You will do a cash flow roadmap in month 1, and then month 2, you extract the $10,000 profit that was sitting there. And then in a month 3, for example, you will build a repeatable profit system to help extract that every month, you know, and then easily sell them on delivering and maintaining that system over the long term. So chunking down these pieces are super important, okay? Both from a delivery piece, priority about how you're going to deliver efficiently and get the best results for clients, but also help them in a future pace when you're selling the first thing, we do this, and the second thing, we do that, and the third thing, we do this, okay? So when you are designing an offer, we just think some people questions, okay? What is the call? What is the single outcome promise? What time frame do you need to get them this outcome? And what are the key steps they need to take? So how do we actually deliver and get results, okay? So, well, first, we don't fall into this semantic trap. So we don't call things a course or a program or a service, we give them a name, we give them a life, and that's what brands are. They are, they have a life beat, they become human, they have character, and that's what an offer is. So you can bring it to life. So my very first core offer, and I'm doing this to explain how simple it can be. This offer was called Organic Leads Mastery, and it made $1 million in total sales, and the simplicity of it was insane. If you're ever feeling like fearful to launch and you're scared to trial your next piece for your next offer, or you're overthinking the delivery, it was a Google Drive folder full of each week's training and the 6 weeks it took them through. And then I had Facebook group that hosted community tools and a Q&A, and I would stream the weekly calls into that group. We answer question in real time, and I was a host of that training. I got cheap logo down on Fiverr, and it did over 1 million in sales because I used that correct component of an offer. So your delivery does not have to be sophisticated, okay? It only has to be sophisticated if you have a sophisticated customer. So your clients are investing in value, not volume. So give them the most value you can. It's not about giving them everything you have, okay? It's about delivering the value that ultimately they need at that time. Transparency accelerates insight and understanding, okay? And what I mean by this is, in your group programs, where we are bringing clients together, we can increasingly learn, clients can learn from other clients. So the more you can do in public in the right context, it accelerates insights and understanding, because clients have more context and ultimately more examples to go with. It must have a defined start, a duration, and an end. So, again, it's clear. And these days, the line between education and services, it's increasingly blurry. And I have to include this because you need to give your clients what they need to be successful. If you are delivering a service and that they need to be taught how to maximize that service, then you need to deliver some education, okay? If you're delivering education and they need a service to you, get the best results from the education you're delivering. Then you should probably deliver the service. And I think in many cases, people get stuck in what business they're in. And when you're serving clients, there are literally just 3 things they need to. So I call it the client stack, okay? It means we're educating, we're empowering clients through context, then it increases the perceived value and confidence. So context is giving them the step-by-step pieces that they need, training on the understanding, the principle, the strategy, all the way down to the tactics, and giving them the skills to do that and get a result from themselves, just like I'm doing now, okay? So I'm bringing together clients in a community, accelerated learning inside, and increases lifetime value. It accelerates learning because we give more examples and they have more context to piece things together as they are learning, okay? So skill acquisition is accelerated. It delivers insight because you have people at different stages, and so people can mirror what other people are doing and what they did at that particular time, a particular stage to get to the results, and also increases long time value because communities, they come for their education, they come for their service, but they stay for the community because it brings humans together. It gives them a sense of belonging. So putting your clients in a community, in the context of delivering your offer or your product, okay, is extremely important. And delivering the optional amount of customizations, it decreases friction and increases result. So context is showing your clients what to do and how to do it. So we do this through education. We do this through video. We do this through templates. We do this through scripts. So we can deliver those things like a free tool like Facebook, or we can deliver it via software platforms like, such like Go High Level, System, Kajabi, or any other software platform as an integrated, okay, as an integrated educational portal that people can log into, and ultimately they can watch a video at their own pace and study at their own pace. So bring your clients together and keep them accountable. Accountability, support, communication, and also transparency. You know, doing the work in public, popular options are Facebook, Slack, or School, or Circle that have community and training portals integrated into themselves and customizations. So what services are done for you? Okay. It could be a lot of different things. For example, we do a lot of done for you for our clients, like launching an entire event for them. I will encourage, even if you are in the service, to bring together clients on group calls or events, or if you coach both groups and one-on-one and those components or customizations, either with yourself or with your team, okay? Team members, okay? So customization allows the client to take the skills that they are learning through the context, take the motivation and the insight they gather from the community and bring those together for themselves. So it can, you know, either accelerate results or check in with clients to get them focused on the next step for them. So I got you a template here around finding the sweet spot and starting to make those components together. You know, what contents do you give them? What training do you need to give them? What's the community? What's the reason of the community? How often you're going to communicate? How often you're going to post? How often you're going to send them a reminder or teach them? What's the frequency of your calls and the communication and the customizations, okay? What do they need? What group components they need to bring clients together? Are you running Q&As? What one-on-one components do they need? And what frequency? What additional services or access do they need inside and outside your organizations to actually get the results directly and help them customize it for you? Now, pricing. Your offer, pricing is an art and a science. So some pricing factors is valuing your time, okay? We all have a time value. So assessing what you value your time and what is a particular goal is crucially important to the first piece of valuing your time. Is where are you now and where do you want to go? Okay, what is your ideal in terms of a daily or an hourly rate? Because we're all trading time for money to some degree in making this product, okay? You know, I'm trading some time for some money, but I'm making a product that has leverage. If I was delivering this to a singular person, I wasn't being recorded, okay? Then I will have a little leverage. But because I'm recording it, I'm valuing my time at a significant more than the one-on-one interaction. So firstly, we must value our time. The second piece is as much about confidence, okay? You can see the same people selling the same products for vastly different prices because they have more confidence in themselves and their value is perceived, not definitive. Not all products are created the same and not all products are created by the same people. So having a confidence, okay, that's actually anchored on some level of reality greatly helps you increase the price. And at the end of the day, okay, the velocity matters. And what I mean by that is that something that's not often talked about in business is the cash flow. Velocity, okay? Velocity is the highest price. It's not always the best. The highest price is actually where there is most friction. Okay, so the velocity of ascending the customer, of giving the customer a result and an insight and collecting, you know, as much cash as possible to do, that is a primary piece. I personally use pricing, you know, I price things how to get clients and customers because I know my stuff is good. It works and I want people to get access to it. And those people might become clients. They might become partners. I might have an equity piece, but it's all because it's easy to buy, you know. Relative to that, I price things that I have access to me, where I have time and customizations, okay, much more highly because those things are much more scarce. So the plotting of the velocity of what the goal of the product is and what the goal of the offer helps you craft that pricing simple rules, okay? If you have a service and you have a component of that time delivery in, let's say you're charging $1,000, it makes it extremely difficult to scale your value of time. It doesn't give you a high amount of leverage. So in general, if you're delivering any kind of customizations or any kind of access to you, and then charging less than 1,000 makes it extremely difficult to justify a delivery. But it also doesn't have enough fat in it to use as an acquisition, right? If you're using a product purely as to acquire customers, you can ignore that, okay? But if you have a component of customization charging less than 1,000, it's very difficult to scale that profitability. At the end of the day, you will innovate around how you pay, okay? Innovate how you do things as you get along. Offers are always dynamic, and pricing is also a big component. For a small business, owners are effective hourly rates, and how much time you're putting in delivering, and intentionally limiting your input to get the highest outputs in a fee. For example, if you have a $2,000 program, having group calls for that program twice a month, it's probably economic. Having one-on-one calls for that program every single day probably isn't. So the pricing and effective rate needs to be specifically catered for that, okay? Set the bar high when you're putting a new offer out there, if you follow the components in this training. So take some confidence, okay? Have some courage and push the limits. Give yourself a pay rise. Now raise your effective hourly rate and price accordingly. And when you stand behind the confidence in you, you got a reason to do that. Then you will believe, because the simple biggest failure in pricing is not believing in the value, okay? In the value that you deliver, believing that you're giving the best that you currently have for the right person and keeping those promises, right, okay? And you transmit beliefs through the elements of your business. So transmitting that belief comes internally, and at the end of the day, your profits are your business. Honestly, your prices and your beliefs are ultimately up to you, okay? The amount of leverage that we have these days means that we can have excessively profitable businesses, and it's nobody's business. Your pricing and your beliefs is ultimately down to you, and how you price and deliver is ultimately up to you as well. So the perception is reality, okay? If you want to be the premium supplier, stick to that. If you want to be the volume supplier, stick to that. That is ultimately what comes out when we talk about things like this is your brand, because there is no wrong place. There is a place for everybody. If you see a lot of products priced at $997 in your market, I will ask, can you do this for $9,997? Or can I do this for $97,000? Because people buy from people. And the end results they give you at the end of the day, okay? Always look at the lifetime value of a customer, the particular goal of the particular offer. So if you price it for the lifetime of a customer and have the beliefs in the pricing, in the delivery that you're gonna provide, building a relationship with that person for life, and you will need significantly fewer clients overall, because the product and the offer will be perfectly crafted with a client who is in your ecosystem and where the client is in their life. And then you'll be the best choice by constantly considering where is this client, where they are, and where you need them to be in your business as well, so you can continuously build on the value chain that you serve. I have a scenario where people have bought my $7 event from me, and they're still clients 5 years down the tracks. So you can always build a value chain, or, create a value chain for clients to solve their next problem. Build the next relationship or deliver the next value. Think lifetime, think long-term, and it's much easier and much simpler to clearly make good decisions about how you construct your product in your business today. Okay, so velocity matters. Velocity matters how quickly you can get a client and serve them without limiting your ability to grow. And what I mean by this is, in any cases, there's a limit to how many concurrent clients you can serve with the current infrastructure. So the faster you can liquidate marketing spend, get paid to have a client, and get another, the faster you grow. Okay, so selling to decision makers with credit cards increases velocity substantially, and consider the hidden constraints board sign off. Okay, the purchasing limits credit cards. And what I mean by this is, when you're crafting an offer crafted for the decision maker who can make the fastest decision, many businesses with long sales cycles die in the process of long sales cycle because they just run out of time. Okay, that they need to actually adequately sell the offer because there's too many decision makers involved. They're selling to too many people. So velocity matters a lot. So how quickly you can get a client and serve them without limiting your ability to grow. In a practical example of that is, many people run, multi-week or multi-month courses, and in many cases, exactly the same thing can be delivered, and in 1 or 2 workshops that are condensed. So that prospects the client time, it condenses it for them. The delivery down from, let's say, 12 hours or 20 hours or 4 weeks to 1 hour to 2 hours. That's how we do workshops, okay? And that means that you're upping the ceiling of how many concurrent clients you serve, because you're changing the modality that you deliver. And the fastest you can liquidate, that and deliver to a client, the faster you can get to the next client and serve the next one and ascend that current client up to the next level. So, and if you're selling to large organizations, always craft your pieces, your marketing, even if you don't have direct access to them, and craft the offer around the primary decision maker. You might have someone presenting your offer, to a board, and at the end of the day, the board or decision maker. So always talk to the decision maker for the increased velocity, okay? Even if you don't have direct access to them. But the fastest people to sell to are people with a credit card. The people who can make a choice now, because that increases the velocity. So always consider velocity on how quickly you can get a client and serve them. Deliver value, ascend them or move them on, because velocity is ultimately the difference between actually stalling at certain levels or growing in many cases. So you got some decisions to make. What is your target effective value rate? Give yourself a pay rise. What return will your client see from your offer? What is the potential non-lifetime value of a client? How are the pricing in the marketplace? And ultimately, what are you going to sell your offer for? We got to form a hypothesis, and it's not the time to overthink, okay? So hypothesis is a fancy word for guessing. And at the end of the day, the market decides. You don't need perfectionism to make sales and deliver results. You just need to answer some simple questions. What is your offer hypothesis, okay? How many do you do every month? How many do you need every month to hit your next goal? What return will your client see from your offer? What are the milestones in delivering your offer? And what's your outcome? And at the end of the day, what are you going to sell your offer for? Offer making are one of the most powerful skills you can make. And whether you are doing a $7 ticket or a $997 program or a $9,000 program or a $100,000 mastermind, the offer is you put the components here and answer those questions. At the end of the day, you will see success, okay? So this is pretty much, the slide presentation that I've given you. In here, sorry guys, in the classroom, if you go into the offer code, you'll see the templates that are giving you. So that's template number 1, which is what we call the cash offer, okay? And the templates number 2 is what I call the hybrid offer. So just click onto the documents and you shall get them. And that's pretty much it. So good luck, and I'll see you next week. Take care, guys.